today on The Dr. Oz Show. All new Dr. Oz's happiness prescription.
This is nature's feel-good hormone.
Recharge your body.
This one shocked me.
Boost your energy and your mood.
It's amazing. It really works. All right, we have talked about metabolism boosters and energy boosters before, but today we're doing something completely different. I'm giving you my prescription for happiness. Simple happiness boosters. There's new research that says if you boost your happiness, you can live a longer and healthier life. These are quick and easy fixes you can make right now that can instantly transform your life and your health.
What if I told you you could cut your risk of heart disease in half, lower your chances of ever developing cancer or diabetes, live a longer life by up to 10 years? Would you do whatever you had to? Then all it might take is to get happy. You won't just live longer, you're also more likely to sleep better, put on less weight, maybe even drop a few pounds. So what makes happiness the best medicine? One reason, happy people may produce less of the stress hormone cortisol, which can age your body before it's time. So what's the secret to feeling good? I've got foolproof happiness boosters, and they're all simpler than you think.
Sociologist Dr. Christine Carter is one of the country's top experts on happiness. She's the author of Raising Happiness. I mean, the topic itself, it seems so basic, yet folks get so confused about it. Please just define happiness.
To me, happiness or a happy life is one that's full of a lot of different types of positive emotions. So happiness is a positive emotion that takes place in the present. It goes with contentment and engagement. But we really also need to think about positive emotions about the past, like gratitude, or the future, like hope, optimism, confidence, or my favorites, about other people, love and compassion.
So if you had to summarize as an expert, the things that you feel block us from being happy the most, what are those obstacles?
Well, you know, for me, perfectionism was one of those things that, if you think about it, perfectionism is just a particular form of unhappiness. I think material is another.
Why is that? That's my problem, by the way. Why is that a form of unhappiness?
Well, think about perfectionism. The definition of it is dissatisfaction, right? You're dissatisfied with your performance, or you're afraid of disappointing yourself or somebody else. That it's a continual state of not good enough, and that's an unhappiness kind
That
of.
could explain a lot. All right, so we have perfectionism.
Yeah, we've also got materialism.
Right.
I think pursuing just trying to get things in life, thinking about what you can get out of life instead of what you can give to it. That shift can really make the difference between being happy or not.
And what's the third item?
I think a lot of people today struggle with entitlement. And, you know, if you think about it, when we feel entitled to something, that just means emotionally we're much more likely to feel disappointed when we don't get what we want than we are to feel grateful when we do.
So you kindly have brought along some tools that you argue will make it easier for us to become happy. And these are easy boosters to your happiness, simple ones we can all begin to follow that will make us feel happier instantly.
Yeah.
So the first is to declutter your mind. All right, so you can declutter your mind with a couple different tools. I'm going to walk everyone through these real quickly. The first is, your mother told you to do all this. Your mother always knew first before I said anything. It could be as simple as cleaning up your room or making your bed.
Yeah.
Now, how can those two things be related?
Yeah, well, you know, I think that there's a ton of truth to that old adage that the state of your bed is the state of your head. And we do know that,
I like that.
People who make their beds tend to be more productive. And I think one reason is that clearing clutter is one of those small changes, that small behaviors that counts as a small win in the willpower department. So when we do these things, it gives us the strength, actually, the willpower strength to make bigger changes in our lives.
The second tool you offer us, one that I think makes a ton of sense, understanding how the brain works, is simply listening to music.
Yeah, absolutely. Neurologically, we're pretty hardwired to respond and interpret music emotionally, which means that we can use music to calm us down or to make us feel happier. It can make us breathe faster, which can be a physical sign of happiness.
I actually love this idea. I wanted to test it out myself, so I asked several members of our audience to try it out over the weekend. And every time they felt a little bit down, I asked them to listen to their favorite song and see if it made a difference in how they felt. So I've got two of those audience members here today. Michelle, thanks for joining us.
Hello, Dr. Oz.
So how did listening to the music make you feel?
Dr. Oz, music has an amazing impact on my mood. Anytime this weekend I was feeling a case of the blahs, I just plug in my iPod, get my music going, and it automatically makes me feel more upbeat and happy and energetic.
And Giovanna's joining us as well. Yeah. So I hear you could not stop singing. Is that true?
Yes, it is. I start my morning singing, and it gets me through my day, and it calms me.
It does. Where do you sing?
I start off in the shower, to my car.
Really everywhere?
And yeah.
So for this, everyone, I put an entire playlist of songs that I love listening to, because I believe in music and have used it for many years. In the operating room, we play music for the very same reason. We play different kinds of music depending on what part of the operation we're doing, in order to either calm us or take us emotionally where we need to be
in
order to do that part of the operation. You get it all on DrOz.com. Last way that we declutter our minds, you argue, is something that many of you may not have thought of, and it was counterintuitive to me when I first heard it proposed, which is to stick to a routine. Now, I would think that you get stuck in a rut if you're doing the same thing every day. Why is that such an important tool to decluttering your mind?
Well, you know, researchers believe that we evolved to feel calmed by repetitive behaviors. So each of us has hundreds of little habits and routines that carry us through the day. And when life gets a little crazy, when it starts to feel too busy or too out of control, one of the ways that we can calm ourselves down or manage our stress is to go back to those little habits and those little routines.
So my standard trusted calming routine is something that I only recently have begun to really appreciate, because over the last 4 years doing the show, I've begun to long for it more and more. And it's a routine that I believe has created tremendous happiness in my own life. Take a look at what it is.
Even though I do my show every day, I keep my Thursday at the hospital. It's my one true love, and where I'm the happiest, saving lives.
Nothing makes me happier than making rounds and seeing my patients. Smile, Donnie. I did that on purpose. One routine before surgery is scrubbing in. With water running on your hands, you begin to think through what you're about to do in the operating room. So it's that mental state of calm you achieve. So my routine here at the hospital brings me a sense of peace, a sense of balance, and now that I think about it, true happiness. So I'm grateful for the blessing of being able to be in the hospital. It gives me tremendous joy, but it also reminds me how much I value the health of my family, because I see folks who are struggling with their own health. That takes me to the next part of our happiness booster checklist, which is the practice gratitude. And I'd love you to explain to everyone, because I think it is, in my own heart, the most important component to happiness, is feeling grateful for what's happened. Sometimes it doesn't seem so good, but it often works out that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. I think that gratitude is the foundation of our personal happiness. So it's those conscious expressions of gratitude which can actually boost our health, our optimism, and our overall satisfaction with life.
Who here feels grateful? Put your hands up. Everyone. Ma'am, you in the white sweater, come on down. Come on down, you put your hand up. You shouldn't have put your hand up then. Come on down. What's your name?
Agnes.
Agnes. And where are you from, Agnes?
From Poland?
From Poland?
Yes.
All right, so I want you to do me a favor. But you know why you're here? What brought you here? Was it just fate?
My friend, Jackie.
Well, that's very kind of you, Jackie, to
We
bring
were
her.
supposed to be last time, Friday, but the show was canceled.
Oh, so I'm glad you came today. You know what?
Yes.
That's what happiness is about, being grateful for what happens. You're supposed to be here Friday, but instead you come on Tuesday. And a lot of times people, to express their love, will find an opportunity to do it in very cool ways. So one of your loved ones, someone who cares about you, has actually drafted a little note, I understand. See if you can recognize this voice.
Agnes, the love that I feel is because of you. I dedicate my deepest, truest love and make myself available for anything that you may need. You will never want for more, and I am grateful to have you in my life.
You know... All right, we've decluttered your mind and practiced some good gratitude to boost your happiness. Dr. Christine Carter is back with us and says, now you need to recharge your body. So what's the connection between the mind and the body and the spirit? How does this all fit together?
Well, one connection is that if you just can't think your way to happiness, sometimes we can't, right? We can use our bodies to make changes in our nervous system, which can boost our mood a little bit.
But the first of those changes you point out that can be a huge booster for us is they fake a smile. And everyone has a pencil. You're going to find out why these pencils are so important. So how does this help?
Well, facial expression alone, believe it or not, without the corresponding emotion behind it, can be enough to create changes in our nervous system. So what the pencil has to do with it, if you put this pencil behind bite it in your back teeth.
All right, do it.
So what you're doing here is you're triggering your smile muscles. And that is enough. If you do this for a minute or so, you're
Look at yourself. Oh,
come on!
You're a fool.
So you do this for a minute or so, and your heart rate's gonna drop. You're gonna start to feel a little bit happier. You're gonna start to think that things around you are funnier after a minute.
You're all laughing.
Yeah.
Keep the pencils in. I'm gonna come back to you in 2 minutes. Seriously, keep the pencils in. I'm gonna see if this experiment works. We want the next happiness booster. You say, step in. No, keep them in there. I'm watching.
It's already working.
Say, step into the sunlight. Why is that so important?
Well, you know, light deprivation is one of those things that can make us feel really tired or even a little bit sad. So we know that if you step into the sunlight, that natural light can stimulate some of those brain chemicals that are going to make you feel better. So there's a great study that shows that just a 10-minute walk first thing in the morning out in the sunlight, in the daylight, can make us feel more energized, make us feel less tired, and boost our mood a little.
It gets into that routine you spoke of earlier.
Yes.
All right. Now, mood foods. This is an important part of the overall plan. A lot of folks don't pay attention to these. What kinds of food? I'm getting to your pencils. Keep them in there. Come into them. Yep, pencil in your mouth. How do we eat good mood food? What are they?
Yeah, well, you know, research shows that there are certain types of fats that are going to have an antidepressant effect on us. It's those omega-3s, those good fats that we can find in shrimp and salmon and snapper. And, you know, other research shows that it's the bad fats, actually, so trans fats or partially hydrogenated oil, can make us feel more aggressive. They can have stimulate a real inflammatory response.
I'm only laughing because they're laughing.
I know.
All right, so eat the omega-3s. They're good for you. Now, do you guys feel better after having put that pencil in your mouth? I mean, you're laughing at this. This is crazy. I mean, it's amazing that it's true. It really works.
Yeah, it does.
Come on,
it does.
let's get to the fourth item. If you like pencils in your mouth and smiling, which without any question, just to endorse you, it is so important. Listen, walk down the hall, wherever you happen to be, at home or at work, and smile. People either think you're crazy, or they'll smile with you, or they'll smile at you, but there's still smiles being evoked, which feeds back to you. We're sort of mirroring it back.
Yeah.
This one shocked me. I'd heard about smiling. I'm a big fan of mood foods and daylight, which is especially important in the winter months. But I never realized yawning was so important. I would love if you could explain to folks all your discoveries in this area.
Yeah, well, you know, we tend to think of yawning as a bit rude and it's a sign of exhaustion, but actually the primary purpose of yawning is to cool off our brain. And when it's contagious, as it tends to be, it's a sign of empathy or social awareness. So even just looking at this photo of somebody yawning or looking at your neighbor or even your dog yawning can stimulate a yawn, and that can have really great benefits for us. Yawning tends to improve our concentration and our alertness. It improves our memory, and it can give us a mood boost. It can make us feel happier.
Now, usually, I yawn when I get tired or if I'm bored. But you actually would make the argument, you have made the argument, that you don't have to wait for that. You can actually yawn on purpose.
Yes.
To feel happy, to do all the things and get the benefits you described.
Yes.
So you just force yourself to yawn, literally?
Yeah, you just start yawning. So the key here is that you've got to yawn several times to really get that benefit. So you just start yawning. Look at a YouTube video of people yawning, look at other people yawning, and the first few ones are going to feel really fake, right? They feel really fake. Let's yawn.
Let's all try this. For the first time on the show,
you're allowed to yawn.
We're going to experiment on this.
And you just do it again and again. And eventually your body should catch on, and you start having those authentic yawns.
Yeah, I never thought of yawning as being a happiness booster, but I will never forget that it is now.
It is.
All right, coming up, a simple happiness booster. Keep yawning. That might even help protect you from a heart attack. Stay with us. We're back with simple happiness boosters that can transform your life in an instant. And I'm about to let you in on a little secret. Before the show, you all took part in an experiment. Watch.
Before today's show, we polled our entire studio audience to find out how they would react to a very unique offer. Would they like a hug,
If someone were offering me a free hug, I would probably feel a little bit uncomfortable going up to them and giving them a hug.
We both said no.
Because we're both a little germophobic.
I would love to get a hug from a stranger because we all need love, and we never know how we're going to be building someone else up just by giving them a hug.
Would you take a free hug from someone you didn't know if it meant the secret to your happiness?
I'm not sure if I should be or should not be surprised, but nearly 25% of you did not want a hug. Sociologist Dr. Christine Carter is back with us. You argue that hugs are a fantastic, easy, simple way to recharge and reboost your happiness.
Yeah, actually, what's happening in our bodies when we give and receive hugs is that oxytocin is being released, and this is nature's feel-good hormone. It's a hormone that creates feelings, warm, fuzzy feelings of trust, generosity, and, of course, happiness.
So then I, of course, asked myself, now that you know all that, why wouldn't you have gotten a hug? So I'm going to ask two of our audience members. Michelle, you saw yourself in that little package.
Yes.
So why did you ultimately decide not to give a hug or take a hug?
I think from a stranger, it just feels a little uncomfortable. It feels a little weird.
Weird, oozy.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Exactly.
Jacqueline, you also denied.
You took my word.
Took my word.
Creepy.
Why is it creepy to get a hug?
It's just from a stranger. You don't know who it is. It's just someone approaching you. You don't know who they are. You want to back away. But if it's your friends or family, it's okay. But as...
Does it surprise either of you that giving a hug is a happiness booster? Not sure.
No.
All right, there used to be a song, you may have heard, but, you know, Charlotte Diamond used to sing it, 4 hugs a day. 4 hugs a day, that's the minimum. I used to sing that to my daughters. I can't get the time of day from them anymore. But when they were little girls, I used to sing that to them. And 4 was the minimum, not the maximum. That's how the song went.
Yeah.
But you argued that song's actually not accurate. There ought to be more than 4 hugs a day.
Yeah, well, there's one researcher that believes that to keep oxytocin levels consistent in our bloodstream, what we need to do is give or receive 8 hugs a day. And the clincher is that they can't just be little pats on the back. They need to be lingering hugs. So it's got to be the people who are open to those full-on cuddles, pretty much.
Well, I understand the creepiness issue, but I got to say, in medicine, you learn that, you know, you touch each other, because you do, because you're operating on people and holding people and checking pulses. The whole field is physical. But I've always found hugs remarkably supportive.
Yeah.
So, Michelle and Jack, let me go back to you guys again. Now that you know you need 8 hugs a day, and granted, you know, might not get hugs from everybody, but in a reasonable setting, in a well-lit setting,
Yeah.
would you consider hugging?
Yes.
Okay, let me see a hug from the 2 of you then.
Actually, Dr. Oz, I'm thinking, would you be one of my 8 lingering hugs for the day?
All right, we'll do a group hug.